Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, prepare your ear holes for the best wrestling podcast in the world. It's time for the Hard-Hitting Wrestling Show.
We're moving on to the Smackdown Greatest Superstars. We're all going to vote to see who is our number one greatest superstar of all time. WWE has started this a couple of weeks ago, and it's our turn right now to decide who is, in the Hard-Hitting Wrestling Show, the greatest superstar in SmackDown. Okay, and we start off with the region of Page. Okay, Page region, which we have number one ranked John Cena versus Kevin Owens. My pick is John Cena. I think this is a no-brainer pick.
Yeah, John Cena, easy. He made his debut on SmackDown, coming out and ruthless aggression with Ric Flair. He's been a staple of SmackDown when it's been successful. Yeah, John Cena is John Cena, you know? Like, look what he's doing today, signing on to Fast and the Furious, following in The Rock's superstardom footsteps. Yeah, you got to go John Cena here. Who knows, maybe down the road we can look back at this and say Kevin Owens could argue for this spot, but right now, John Cena.
Frank.
I agree. John Cena away. You know, he was the face of this franchise for years. You know, you can't. There's no other option there.
Okay, Hector.
Yeah, I agree. John Cena is the face. He was, you know, and I'm just waiting to see if they're gonna make a storyline to where he comes back and win that title for the 17th time just to break the record.
That's what I'm waiting for myself.
You know, did we not notice that they made a mistake when Ric Flair came out and they put the 17 time?
Yeah, they put 17 times.
Said he was 16.
Yeah.
And the Miz said he was 16 time and they put 17.
Yeah.
You know, so I think right there's no brainer. It's John Cena over Kevin Owens.
All right. Well, Triple H versus Jeff Hardy. I thought this was a no-brainer. I know the status of Jeff Hardy. The Hardy Boys were more effective than Jeff Hardy by himself. I understand he was a WWE champion, an Intercontinental champion, but Triple H has accomplished much, much more than Jeff Hardy, and that's why I picked Triple H.
Yeah, I love Jeff Hardy, but I mean, the game all the way. Like, no one's ever been suspended from school or anything from Jeff Hardy. There was a generation of kids going suck it to their teacher and this and that, all because of Triple H. The game, the King of Kings, the cerebral assassin. Yeah, Triple H.
All right. So you agree, Frank?
Oh, of course. Why would I disagree? Jeff Hardy's good. I love Jeff Hardy. But Triple H has done it right. All right, he married into the company. All right, he pretty much told Vince, suck it. Stephanie, definitely suck it. I mean, hell, you can't lose.
All right, Hector.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. There's no more to say about it. It's Triple H.
Yeah, I didn't think anyone would disagree on that one.
And also talking about, like, SmackDown, the stuff with him and the McMahons and The Rock and Stone Cold, like, when the DX Express, when Stone Cold dropped blew up the DX Express, that's just classic SmackDowns. So, yeah.
Yeah, the other half of that bracket from Page, we had Sheamus versus Kane. That could be argumentative right there. It took me a long time to figure this one out, but I have to stick with Kane. Kane had more victories than Sheamus because Kane's been there for a long period of time as well. Not too far away from The Undertaker. But he's also been the champion. He's held titles, whether it was a tag team or solo. But I give more credit to Kane. But in Sheamus' argument, he was also the king. And he was also the heavyweight champion. So I give Kane all the way.
Yeah, but if you look, when Sheamus was the king, when he was the heavyweight champion, that was all on Raw. We're talking SmackDown. Kane,
correction, because he was a heavyweight champion in SmackDown. Yes, he was.
He was on Raw during the time.
Because he had beat Daniel Bryan for the heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
That fastest seconds. And that probably still is the record. I'll look that one up. I'm pretty much sure it was SmackDown. Hector.
Talk about it.
I like Sheamus. I take nothing away from the Big Red Machine. But I don't know. I just like Sheamus. His athleticism and everything. And something about that bro kick. You get hit with that, they would knock that mask right off his face.
Sit over there.
Okay.
So I would go with Sheamus.
Frank.
I go with Kane.
Oh, so we got a 2-2 split.
I definitely go with Kane here.
I got it.
Kane has been on forever also. You can't take that from him. Sheamus, he's great, he's good, but he's not the Big Red Machine. He's more of a carrot top. So I take Kane.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just lean over with Jace on this one. And like I said, it was hard. But as a HHW show, we'll just go with Sheamus on this one, since he is a higher seed right now. So Sheamus. That leads into Becky Lynch and Dolph Ziggler. And I laugh at this because Dolph Ziggler's all he done was lose all the time. When he was the heavyweight champion as a heel, he really needed help to win all the time. You're talking about Becky Lynch, who was a 3-time SmackDown Women's Champion. And she is a rising star in the women's division. So I picked Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I picked, especially coming off the year from SmackDown that she had, becoming the man, soaring to stardom, getting put on the cover of WWE 2K20. Yeah, you got to go with Becky Lynch here. She even the first SmackDown Women's Champion as well. So when you're talking SmackDown, Becky Lynch gets the edge.
All right. Frank.
It has to be Becky. Dolph is gonna come crying. It should have been me. It should have been me. Pretty much. If you're saying it should have been me, it should have been me.
I'll play that remix for you. All right, Hector.
I gotta go with Becky too. Belt's the last kicker.
Word up. All right. So let's narrow that down to on that region right now. We have John Cena versus Triple H. And I'm not even gonna argue with this one. I'm just gonna be blunt. You guys could defend your answers. John Cena.
Yeah. This one's tough. This is probably the toughest one before we get to the final four. But yeah, you got to go John Cena. John Cena is John Cena. All
right, Frank.
I had originally, when I was looking at it, I had Triple H, and then I really started to think about it, and it has to be Cena. The more I thought about it and I looked more into it, I'm like, wait a minute, no, it's Cena. Cena's pretty much, when you look at it, has always been on his own. Triple H was always a company. So in this case, it has to be Cena.
Okay. Hector.
Yeah, it's a very close call, but I got Cena over Triple H.
Okay. Then we have Sheamus versus Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, easy.
Becky Lynch. I picked Becky Lynch. How about you guys?
I got Becky.
Well, I never had Sheamus.
No, you did not. But
But I would say this.
Sheamus just got voted in.
I had Kane. Oh, yeah, well, look, I'll make it very simple. I had Kane, but I think Becky Lynch over Kane.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would too.
Okay. And then to close out that region, we got John Cena and Becky Lynch.
It's tough. Not gonna lie.
I don't think it's tough at all.
No, I think it is tough. If you recency bias, you'd obviously go Becky.
But we're talking about the greatest superstar of all time.
Can I talk? Can I please speak my mind?
Go ahead. You want a hug too?
I mean, look, John Cena's done a lot on Raw. And if you are talking SmackDown, I think John Cena's also done a lot of SmackDown. I think their resumes on SmackDown alone could be comparable. But, I mean, John Cena wins.
You're going to pull that stunt like you did on the other show. All that hype for the one answer. Yep. All right. Hector.
John Cena. I mean, hell, I can't stand the man, but he's great on the mic. He's probably the best on the mic. You know, his gimmicks, his style. John Cena is just the winner on that match right there, honestly.
Okay. And Frank?
You really need my answer?
You picking two belts?
It hasn't been around long enough.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you just give us a off-the-wall answers.
I do.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what makes it more interesting.
So,
but in this case, it's definitely there is no off-the-wall answer. All right. Maybe the other brackets it might be, but here it's John Cena all the way.
All right.
All the way. John Cena.
Moving on to Vicky Guerrero's region, we have Rey Mysterio versus JBL. I'll be last on this one, so because this region was very hard for me. We'll start with Frank.
That one's rough. I've been a Rey Mysterio fan. JBL is JBL. You know, he's rough, he's tough, but Rey Mysterio's always been the underdog, and I'm going to go with the underdog here and say Rey Mysterio.
Okay, Frank?
This was Frank.
Sorry, Hector.
Hey, I take nothing away from JBL, but I think Rey Mysterio's been in the game for a very, very long time. He's done a whole lot, even when he was on WCW, you know what I'm saying? So I will have to stick with the Master of the 619 on this one.
Okay.
When I was a little kid and I started watching wrestling, you could tell I was Mexican because the first one I was drawn to was the luchador with the mask. Rey Mysterio all the way.
All right, Rey Mysterio wins by unanimously. Okay, so now we got Eddie Guerrero versus Edge. You want to start it?
Dude, this is tough. This is really, really tough. But when I think of SmackDown, there's just too many great moments that Eddie Guerrero had. Like, Edge had his moments, but up there, Eddie Guerrero and JBL, Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar. I'm going Eddie here.
Okay. Frank?
It's going to be Eddie. There's just,
all right.
You know, it's him.
Got you. It's him.
It's him. Right. It should have been him.
Latino.
LWO. All right. Hector.
Hey, when you lie, you cheat, you steal. You know, Eddie Guerrero.
All right. Latino Heat it is. And to back that story up, Eddie Guerrero on SmackDown owned Edge. So they had the rivalry, and Eddie had defeated Edge. And if I'm not mistaken, there was somebody else in that picture. It wasn't JBL. Because I think they both were on Raw when they battled. But there were a couple of feuds that Eddie Guerrero did, and he had a feud with Rey Mysterio. Let's not forget that. I was on SmackDown. Yeah. And which them two are now head-to-head right now.
Yeah.
So if you were to pick, and rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
Dude, this is tough. I got a funny but sad story. When I started watching wrestling, right? My dad told me these guys are being bad, these guys are being good. So Eddie at the time, it was the Rey Mysterio. I remember watching him in the Rey Mysterio feud over Dominic or whatever. And then, so Eddie was always a bad guy to me. Always a heel in my eyes. And then when I spoke with, then my dad told me Eddie Guerrero passed away. I thought to myself, it was still in the story, and I thought it was part of the story. And a bad guy's gone. So I said, yay. Which, I mean, is not something you say. But I was a dumb little kid. But looking back on it and going, Eddie Guerrero was just too good. Like, he was so great. And looking back at what he did and what could have still happened, what he still could have done, I gotta go Eddie Guerrero.
All right. Frank?
I don't know. That one to me is a draw. You know, I'm stuck. You know, it's I've been a fan of Rey Mysterio. I was definitely a fan of Eddie. You know, but if I have no other choice and I have to pick, I'm gonna say just Eddie Guerrero, just for the simple fact of who he was, how he handled his character. You know, and like Hector said earlier, you know, you lie, cheat, and steal. You know, so he stole this one from Rey Mysterio.
Okay. Hector?
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. You know, I just think he was just a better in-ring performer, you know, with his storyline. He knew how to carry his character and stuff like that. And, you know, it was just very heartwarming and touching when they gave him that WWE Championship match and he beat Brock Lesnar with that frog splash. You know, pinned him.
Yeah, I remember that match.
You know,
I was,
so, you know, but
I was very sad when in his passing. It was a shock to everybody. But I mean, he was one of many. He was one of many that had passed away in a short amount of time. So again, rest in peace. WWE had Rey Mysterio advancing and passing Eddie Guerrero, but they probably looked at something different. Well, maybe because Rey Mysterio is still alive.
It was all fan votes.
We have fan votes, but Eddie Guerrero was really the... If Eddie Guerrero was still alive today, it would be Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
On the other side, we have AJ Styles versus Booker T. Now, I picked AJ Styles because he is the man that ran the place in SmackDown, and I think he did it a lot better than Booker T.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at great moments in SmackDown, you obviously have the supermarket showdown between Stone Cold and Booker T. But that's really the only moment I think of for Booker T. AJ,
Can you dig it, sucker?
as a commentator, he was great, but yeah, AJ Styles did run the house at SmackDown. The SmackDown Live era of SmackDown that we are just going away from, that was the house that AJ Styles built. So I'm going AJ Styles.
All right. Hey, Frank, what's up?
I have to go with Booker T. I just don't think that AJ Styles, yeah, he has run the house, but I don't think he's been around WWE long enough to be considered one of the all-time greats. At least not just yet.
Yeah, but you're also talking about AJ Styles being a heavyweight champion, you know, twice. Well, I mean, you got a valid point because also Booker T was the king.
Yeah.
You know,
King Booker.
and he is a Hall of Famer, not only as a tag team, but also as an individual. And I think Hector, there must be a tornado going on in Texas right now.
Yeah, there's something going on over there.
It's out of that. He's trying to find a fan to turn on because I know it's how hot it is in Texas.
Well, we need more than a fan around here.
So you're saying who's your pick? AJ Styles or Booker T?
Booker T. I say Booker T.
Okay.
I mean, growing up, watching them with Harlem Heat, and the dominance they were doing as a tag team, and then, him breaking off with his brother, and go to singles competitions, and then look what happens. Five time, and not only that, but also the king of the ring.
All right.
AJ Styles has a lot of credentials, but not as good as I think Booker T is. So I go Booker T.
We also have Alexa Bliss and Big E. Now, Big E came and he was the wingman of Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
And then AJ Lee was in the mix as well. Then he tried to go solo for a couple of matches, but that's how far it went. But he really never signed, and I'm surprised his name is on the list because he hasn't really done much in SmackDown, but until he became with the New Day.
But wasn't he Intercontinental Champion at one point?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
So that may be a reason why, because he did have glory for 1 minute as a single competition.
You're right, but that one time. But how many other people were Intercontinental Champion in SmackDown? Or how many other wrestlers out there? I know there's more wrestlers than just Big E. You know what I mean? To be on this list is what I'm saying. But, I mean, we got it right here, but I still think Alexa Bliss beats Big E.
No, I'm going Big E. I mean, look at what he's done with the New Day. It's great. You mentioned earlier how you wish he got his own run because of how good he is. I like Big E. Big E's one of my favorite wrestlers. Alexa Bliss is good, but I think looking at it, she's probably done a lot more on Raw than SmackDown. And I mean...
But you're talking about Alexa Bliss is a 3-time women's champion, and Big E's only had a belt one time.
6-time tag team champion.
But that's not by himself. He's with a partner. We're talking about Big E by himself.
Are we though? Those are comments. We were just talking about Booker T and Harlem Heat.
But Booker T was tag team and he individual. He was the king of the ring.
Yeah.
He also was a heavyweight champion by himself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you're bringing up Harlem Heat for Booker T, I don't know why
I didn't bring Harlem Heat.
Bring
Hector
up the
brought
New
up
Day.
Hector brought him up.
Blame it on Hector. Don't blame it on me.
I'm still going
Hector
Big E.
brought him up.
I mean, you see what happened was Hector and the background, you could tell he's not really stable right now.
What happened?
Hey, I got things I'm trying to get accomplished, okay?
Yeah, we understand that. Harlem Heat. He's dealing with the heat over there.
Look here, sucker.
So, all right. So
Fight time.
Booker T versus Big E. Which one you want to pick?
Hold on, I didn't even pick Big E. I was going to pick Alexa
Me
Bliss.
neither. I never picked Big E either.
Oh, so we're all good with Alexa Bliss.
I'm liver now.
Are you?
I guess I'm expired liver.
All right, fair enough. Booker T and Alexa Bliss. Who's your take?
Alexa.
Hector?
I pick Alexa.
She's done it on her own. Big E hasn't been on his own long enough.
And Alexa Bliss, she went on Raw and SmackDown and won the titles on each brand first.
Yeah, but we're talking about SmackDown here. This is for the greatest SmackDown, right?
Alexa Bliss, 3-time champ. And
Yeah, we're talking SmackDown. Not Raw tag team champions.
But you know what? Alexa Bliss already won by majority decision, but I'm gonna go Booker T because he's good on commentary too. People are embarrassing.
So we can make it a triple threat match. Let's go with Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, and Alexa Bliss.
Eddie all day.
Eddie? I got Eddie.
Yeah, I will pick Eddie.
All right.
Eddie.
Now let's
It's
close.
Eddie.
Let's close this one half out before we go to the other half. So we got to wrap this up real quick. John Cena versus Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, yikes.
I pick Cena.
You pick who?
Cena.
Okay, I got Cena.
Cena.
Yeah, you gotta go Cena.
All right, 10-long region. Let's go real quick. Batista and The Miz. I got The Miz.
I'm going Batista. I like Batista.
All right.
SmackDown. He was good.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I'm going with Batista on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to Miz.
All right. Well, The Miz was ranked eighth seed, and Batista's number 1 seed. So I'm gonna pick that as a tiebreaker. Let's go with Batista on that one. As much as I disagree with Batista being in there, that's fine. But it is what it is. The Rock and Kurt Angle. I got The Rock.
The Rock is Mr. SmackDown. He came up with the term SmackDown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
You sure, Frank? Because I thought you was a Kurt Angle fan.
No,
I look like him. That's why everybody's saying.
That is tough though. Like Kurt Angle, if Kurt Angle weren't against The Rock, he'd win some. He'd advance at least once.
Yeah, well, Kurt Angle will probably drink some more milk or pour milk out. I don't know. Charlotte Flair and Xavier Woods.
Well, he won an Olympic medal with a
Charlotte Flair.
With a broken freaking neck. Charlotte Flair, what about you, Frank?
Charlotte Flair.
Yes, Hector.
Charlotte Flair.
I got Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair.
All right, we got Big Show and Kofi Kingston.
Flair.
Kofi Kingston and Big Show? And you say Flair? What happened?
No, me.
Oh, we're just gonna bypass that portion of the bracket. All right, so who you got?
I'm going.
I got the Big Show on that one.
Yeah, my favorite SmackDown moment of all time is the first broken ring, and half of that was because of Big Show. So I'm going Big Show.
All right, so let's narrow it down. We got Batista and The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Charlotte Flair and the Big Show.
Big Show.
Big Show.
I picked the Big Show.
Big Show it is. And then The Rock versus the Big Show. I think this was a no-brainer. The Rock. So
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock.
now we go to the final region. Paul Heyman. We have The Undertaker and Christian. Shall I skip that one? Should I already know the answer?
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
Undertaker.
Yeah, we all know it's Taker.
Yeah, that's
Daniel Bryan and Mark Henry.
I love Mark Henry. I'm going Mark Henry. World's strongest man. Thinking about SmackDown, Daniel Bryan did a lot on Raw.
Daniel Bryan also brought the Yes Movement on SmackDown.
He did, but he started on Raw.
Yeah, but
And he was also a tag team champion.
A lot of Daniel
I
Bryan
got Daniel Bryan on that one.
has been on Raw.
no, but okay, but you're right. The Yes Movement was where? Raw or SmackDown?
Started on Raw.
I think it was Raw. I think it started at Raw.
Well, he was a heel on SmackDown, wasn't he? When he was like, no, at the beginning before
Correct.
it went to yes.
Correct. I think you're right.
And he lost to Sheamus very quickly because of AJ Lee. He wanted that kiss.
Yeah.
But
I know I'm going to lose, so.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to determine because Mark Henry is good, but I still feel as Daniel Bryan did a lot more than Mark Henry. Even though Mark Henry's been in the business a long time, but that doesn't mean that he was wrestling that whole entire time. You see what I'm saying? Because he was,
Yeah, for a whole minute he had the Hall of Pain thing.
right? But before that, he was
You know,
what?
but
World's strongest man.
he
Then sexual chocolate.
Yeah.
and he wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So Daniel Bryan?
He impregnated
Daniel Bryan.
her with a hand.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Brock Lesnar and Michelle McCool.
Brock Lesnar.
Rock.
All right. Randy Orton and Matt
I think
Hardy.
cool.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
He said he was cool. All right. He's cool because he's got that rain in Florida. Bring that rain to Hector over there, man.
Yeah, right.
Randy Orton and Matt Hardy.
Randy Orton.
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 Okay. And so now we got Undertaker versus Daniel Bryan.
Taker.
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 Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton.
Brock.
I take Randy.
Brock.
I take Randy Orton.
I got you. I understand. But I got to go for Brock Lesnar. I mean, you got points. I understand, you know, when they had the Evolution and everything else. But Brock Lesnar had more battles. Not only going for the championship, but at the same time, when he defended the title, he went against everybody. And you can't dismiss that, what Brock Lesnar did.
No. I'm not dismissing that one, but I like Randy Orton better than Brock.
And Randy Orton, yeah, he did win the title, but then he is the 13-time champ, but that's a combination of both belts. So, yeah, I'll pick Brock. And then that leads to me, and this is going to be debatable. I know it is. The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
Taker. I take Taker. He's done more for the business.
This is hard for me. This is my two favorite wrestlers of all time. But I gotta go with Undertaker, dude. I mean,
I'm surprised you guys are going for Undertaker, to be honest with you. Because head-to-head in SmackDown, Brock Lesnar has defeated the Undertaker.
Frank said, you know, what he's done for the business.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it. You know, head-to-head, Brock Lesnar owns him. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about, you know, what are we looking at here overall? Look at that resume. Undertaker's resume is much more than Brock Lesnar. You know, besides Roman Reigns, Undertaker's defeated everybody he's faced in that ring since he came into the WWE. Okay, he's a true legend. Okay, I mean,
don't get me wrong. Yes, I agree with you. I do. But are we getting confused with SmackDown and Raw?
Dude, if we're mixing it all up, let's also throw in the fact that Brock Lesnar's a national champion wrestler and a UFC champion. If we're mixing it all up, but no, yeah, Taker wins this.
Okay, Taker wins. So that leads me to my last match on that side: The Rock or The Undertaker.
This is hard. This is really hard.
I never said it was easy.
But since we're talking about SmackDown, you can't have SmackDown without The Rock.
Or The Undertaker.
No, you legitimately can't have SmackDown without The Rock.
Okay.
He came up with the term SmackDown. Layeth the SmackDown.
All right. Hector?
I gotta agree, even though I'm a big Undertaker fan since day one, but The Rock has coined that phrase, and that's why SmackDown is what it is because of him. Even though I think The Undertaker's, of course, obviously been around longer, he's done more, but I mean, The Rock, I think, will win that one.
Okay.
The Rock. I'm not even going to go into my long explanation about that. It's just The Rock.
All right, now here's the finals. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. John Cena versus The Rock.
That happened on Raw, so we can't go based off the prior.
No, but they both were on SmackDown. I don't think they even battled in SmackDown ever.
No, because when they had...
No, they had them out in WrestleMania.
Right. That's right. That's right. In my opinion, I would say...
2 matches, right?
I would say The Rock. Well, yeah, 2 matches.
You know, when it was supposed to be once in a lifetime, they gave it to us twice.
Yes.
Correct.
They had to give him the belt. Yeah.
So technically, they're 1-1.
Yep.
Among each other.
And they will never match up again. Well, actually, they were tag teams afterwards. But in my opinion, I think The Rock did more on SmackDown than John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, talking about that, and also... Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it again. SmackDown wouldn't be called SmackDown if it weren't for The Rock. And you look at how big of a superstars they both are today. The Rock's The Rock. He isn't even human.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hector, Frank, want to chime in on that one?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hector.
I think it's just The Rock. He's the most electrifying wrestler in sports entertainment. And I think, honestly, if anybody's going to be better than Cena on that mic, it'll be The Rock. I mean, you can have an argument because they're both great on the mic, but The Rock, he's coined so many different phrases, you know, that got the people going. So I give the slight edge to The Rock.
I agree. I mean, I had Cena, but listening to my buddies over here, I have to change my mind and go with The Rock. You know, just for all the points you guys have all said. Gosh, I feel sad now.
Nah, I mean,
But
you gotta understand that John Cena, the only thing he did was the Thugonomics before he changed his name to The Rock.
when you really look at it on the mic, if you put Cena and The Rock together on the mic against each other, I think The Rock will win.
Because it was The Rock that wound up putting John Cena on the box of Fruity Pebbles.
That's what it was. I was gonna say Barney, but I wasn't sure. But yes, Fruity Pebbles.
I gotta love these guys, man. That's good. That's good research.
Yeah.
He was Fruity Pebble. Hey, he made Cena some money.
Yeah, he did. I mean, well, shoot, John Cena's the most colorful wrestler in the WWE with all these shirts. I mean, I go bankrupt trying to buy all the colorful shirts.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you have it. The SmackDown Greatest Superstar of all time is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.